Hello, everybody. So, my name is Tyson, and I have decided to create the Real Sports Podcast. Now, I am just a regular guy, just a big sports fan. I live, breathe, eat sports. So, I am guessing, are a big sports fan as well, or else I'm not sure why you clicked on this, right? So, this is a podcast. I am obviously just starting, and I would like to make it a daily podcast every single day. So if you can like this, subscribe, however you're listening to this, any support is great. And before I get into today's topics, just a little background. I am just a regular dude, and I have an office job, and I was recently demoted of my position, and just really not knowing what to do, like I imagine a lot of people go through, right? And I was sitting there thinking to myself, what can I do in order to make an income, be happy, right? Because that, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're going for, I think, all of us, right? And try to figure out what can I do. And I thought, well, sports is pretty much my whole life, and what a better way to spend my days than talking about sports and being able to interact with different people. So this is what I've decided to do, and I hope you guys like the content. And any feedback is great. And let's get into it here. So yesterday, as you guys all probably watched, was the Super Bowl, right? Probably one of the worst Super Bowls in history. Game Patriots win 13-3. Honestly, I think the Patriots could have won this game 31-3. I think there was one total play in the red zone by the Patriots and zero by the Rams. It was pretty god awful when it comes to offense, but if you like defense, it was pretty magnificent. Now, I was scrolling through Twitter, and someone pointed out a very, very, very good tweet, right? We had a 13-3 game, and an offensive guy wins MVP. It's like, you got to give that to the defense. They just allowed 3 points by arguably the best offense in the league. I would say Kansas City had the best offense in the league as far as just dangerous plays and just putting points up on your head. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen play the game. When you talk about his throws, rolling out on the wrong side, throwing across his body, 70 yards on a dime, 50 yards, whatever it is, he's incredible. But going over this Super Bowl, the Patriots dominated it, and everybody was talking about Tom Brady's the GOAT, right? And I think we all can agree that Tom Brady probably is the GOAT, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, right? But one thing I'll say is a lot of his Super Bowls, well, a few of his Super Bowls, he had a lot of help, right? This Super Bowl especially, the defense absolutely controlled this game. Okay, Tom Brady had nothing to do with this win. Everybody can say what they want. At the end of the day, the Patriots offense put up 13 points. 13 points in the NFL should never win you a game unless you're playing the Buffalo Bills. That is the only way you should ever win a game, scoring 13 points. If you would have told me that the Rams were only going to score 3 points, I would have told you get the hell out of here. And if you told me the Patriots were going to score 13, I would have put my life savings on the Rams. I cannot believe the defensive performance that the Patriots put out. Now, I think we all can agree the moment was too big for Jared Goff a little bit, but that offensive line did not play well. There was probably, 5 to 10 plays where his offensive lineman just didn't block, and there was 3 guys in his face as soon as he hiked the ball. Todd Gurley clearly was not healthy. He obviously was banged up. When you look at the box scores here, Tom Brady was 21-35, 262 yards, and an interception. Sony Michel, he had a really good game, 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Offensively for the Rams, nothing there. Jared Goff goes 19-38 for 220 29 yards with a pick. Todd Gurley, 10 carries, 35 yards. C.J. Anderson, that fat boy had 7 carries, 22 yards. No receiver really did anything. Edelman had a nice game, obviously, 10 receptions, 141 yards. But I just don't think a defensive or an offensive player deserves the MVP award when there is 3 points given up by that team, right? If you really look at it, you could definitely make an argument for a Patriots defender to win MVP there, right? So that I kind of had a problem with, and the Super Bowl was not very enjoyable. We have another Patriots Super Bowl win, and hopefully next year we can change that. A little background about me: I am a Carolina Panther fan, and I am from Salt Lake City, Utah. So that probably doesn't go together at all. I pretty much watched the Panthers go on a Super Bowl run to lose to the Patriots, and that's how I became a fan of them. And yeah, just as a kid watching them. So hopefully we can get a new Super Bowl winner come next year, because myself, I think like other fans, are tired of the Patriots. But you do have to give them credit. It is one of probably actually the most impressive run any franchise has ever had. When you look at the NFL, it is set up for you not to repeat, right? The AFC has been absolutely dominated by the Patriots, and it's unreal. I mean, when you look at it here, when you look at NFC champions, right? And when you go through each year, there's usually a different team, right? There's usually always a different team. Last year, or this year, you have the Rams. Last year, you had the Eagles. Just to break it down, because, I mean, the Patriots started dominating, 2001 is when they won their first Super Bowl. I mean, if you start from 2001, you had the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Bears, the Giants, Cardinals, Saints, Packers, Giants again, the 49ers, the Seahawks for 2 years straight, the Panthers again, the Falcons, the Eagles, and now the Rams. I mean, when you look at that, that is very, very competitive, right? And this podcast is mainly going to be about basketball and football. Okay, those are my absolute 2 passions, but I love any kind of sports: baseball, hockey, soccer, UFC, boxing. I mean, if it's a sport, I'll watch it. So, but when you look at that, it's just absolutely crazy, the fact that the Patriots have done what they've done. Because you look at the AFC, right? If we go ahead and pull up all the AFC winners from 2001, and you're looking, you got the Patriots, the Raiders, but then the Patriots 2 more years, the Steelers, the Colts, then the Patriots again, Steelers, Colts, Steelers again, then the Patriots, and then the Ravens and Broncos sneaking in there, but then it's the Patriots and the Broncos and the Patriots and the Patriots and the Patriots. That is a dominant run like no one else has had over the history of the game, really. The Steelers have been one of the most dominant. They're now tied in championships. And the crazy thing is Tom Brady's, 41 years old? He should not be doing this. And he'll come back next year, and we'll count him out, and they'll probably be in the Super Bowl again. And there's not really anyone too strong in the AFC. I think we all can agree on that. But overall, it's just an impressive run. And the Super Bowl wasn't great. I would have loved to have seen a Chiefs-Rams Super Bowl. That would have been, I think, a fantastic game, offensive shootout. But I can appreciate some defense. But that was a game the Patriots dominated. They could have won that game by 30, honestly. Starting in the first quarter, I thought, man, the Patriots might just blow the Rams, off the field. And give the Rams credit. They made some plays, and they kept themselves in the game. They for sure did that. And you got to give them credit on that end of things. Now, that's pretty much all I had to say when it comes to the Super Bowl. The commercials everybody always talks about. That seems to be lacking every year. It seems like it's getting worse. The halftime show, absolutely god awful. Can't stand any halftime show. Every halftime show I've ever seen for the Super Bowl has been pretty much terrible. The last good one I remember was Janet Jackson. So that's about the only entertainment I have found in the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, going forward, we'll see how the kind of league shakes out. A lot of different things going on. Sounds like Le'Veon Bell might actually return to the Steelers, as crazy as that sounds, um, which I don't even know how that will work. And Antonio Brown will be possibly traded. So the NFL is going to be crazy this season, and I am personally very excited for it. So we'll go ahead and move away from the NFL topics and talk a little NBA. Now, I am in Salt Lake City, so therefore I am a Jazz fan 110%. Go to quite a bit of games every year. Now, to talk about a few things going on in the NBA, what's the number one subject right now? That's got to be Anthony Davis. Now, with Anthony Davis, I personally think it's a punk move for anybody to abandon their team if that team is trying to win. Okay? So, what I mean by that is if I was playing for the New Orleans Pelicans, right, and I'm Anthony Davis, how do you feel, right? The team has made efforts to try to get better. Has all their deals worked out? Absolutely not, right? The only great move they've made has been Drew Holiday, okay? So, do I see why he wants out? 100% I see why he wants out. Personally, I think guys should stay where they're at. It's great for their legacy. And, I want the NBA to be more like the NFL, where it's more competitive balance. And no matter what city you're in, you have a chance. I think super teams are terrible for the league because it stacks, take for instance, I was watching the Celtics Thunder game yesterday, and I was like, this is some very good basketball. This is really good. And the reason I thought that was because before that game started, I was watching the Memphis Grizzlies and New York Knicks. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever watched those two teams this year, but man, that is bad. Like, it is just bad basketball. And I feel like we end up having a lot more of those teams than we do just good teams that can play some good basketball, right? This year, surprisingly, has been a little bit more competitively balanced. I mean, when you go ahead and you look at the NBA standings, the West is as tight as it could be. The East, obviously, is not so much as far as when you talk about talent level, but they have some competitive races going. But when you look at the West, it's really, I mean, Dallas kind of traded themselves out of being a player in it when they went for Porzingis. And the Pelicans have dropped. And the Suns, well, they're the Suns. We'll just leave it at that. So when you have those three teams, and then outside of that, everyone else is very competitive in the West. In Memphis, I forgot about Memphis. But when you talk about Minnesota, they're 25-27. The Lakers, they obviously just got LeBron back, so they're still working themselves back into it. The Kings, surprisingly, they have a nice young squad. De'Aaron Fox is an absolute stud. He's a baller. And then you look at the Clippers, the Jazz, Rockets, Spurs, Portland, Oklahoma City, Denver, Golden State. That's the current standings right now. We'll see after tonight's game how that all plays out. That will shake some things up. But really, when you look through 2 through 8, well, I'd say 2 through 7 because I don't consider the Clippers a very big player. But honestly, you could probably move the Lakers into the 8th spot because I think that's going to be your 8 playoff teams right there. Really, from 2 to 8, I think anybody could be the 2nd seed and anybody could be the 8th seed. Now, probably not with the Nuggets. They have quite a bit of lead, so I take that back. If we were to go 3 to 8, anyone could be anywhere. So the West playoffs are going to be a lot of fun. I do think Golden State comes out of it. They have too much talent. They're overloaded, and it's honestly not fair. And I understand the league is doing better than it's ever done before, but I don't think it's a good thing when you have a team of 5 all-stars that can absolutely dominate anybody. You can go through the whole league, no one's got a chance. I don't care if it's Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Philly, or Denver, Oklahoma City, Portland, Spurs, Rockets, Jazz, Lakers. No one has a chance against that team in a 7-game series. Now, if you beat them, it's probably because they're bored, honestly. And that I don't like about the NBA. But if you were to break up that team, and let's just say you take Kevin Durant off it, right? You take Kevin Durant, you put him on, let's say, the Knicks, okay? This NBA season would probably be the craziest NBA season ever because it would be so wide open. And that is, I think, what we all want, but it's probably not what we're going to get because you're always going to have super teams. I think that's just the new norm. And the only way for you to successfully build a roster is, one, you're going to have to draft well, and you're probably going to have to steal someone in the draft. Like Denver, look at them, Jokic, who saw him coming on, right? Or the Bucks getting Giannis really late in the draft. When the Spurs drafted Kawhi, they drafted him late. The Jazz getting Donovan Mitchell at 14 and Rudy Gobert at 27. Those are the type of picks you have to make. Or Golden State getting Stephen Curry, I think, at 7, and Klay Thompson at 11, and Draymond Green in the second round. That's how you have to win in the NBA. Or you can do it the Miami Heat way and just get 3 superstars in free agency. So hopefully we can keep having a competitive balance in the league. But overall, I think the league is in a good spot here, and I do think it's going to be the Golden State Warriors' last year of winning the title. I do think we'll see a new champion. I don't know who that will be, but I do think we will see a new champion. But before I got on that whole, I don't even know what you call it there, Anthony Davis, I wish he would not want out of New Orleans, just for the simple fact of I like to see teams keep their guys, right? I like to see that, and I think it's best for the league when you have good teams and teams that feel like they can compete and their fan base feels like they can compete. I think that's good for the league. But he's free to, kind of do what he wants, and, it sounds like him and LeBron are going to tag team up with each other. But let's not forget, LeBron James has been out a lot this year with injuries. And baby James, he might be on a downward, spiral here in a couple years. And he's so smart and he's so good and he knows the game so well that he'll always be effective, right? We all know that. But at the end of the day, I believe he's 34 years old? Eventually, it will catch up with you. He'll always be effective. But best player in the league, I think he's probably got only a couple years left, and then he's probably going to take a back seat. So if they build a super team in Los Angeles, it has to happen within probably a year. If it doesn't happen then, I don't think it's going to happen. So definitely look out for that. I hope you don't see a tag team kind of superstar thing where Kawhi goes and Davis gets there and all that. Let's just hope if New Orleans makes a deal, it's not with LA and it's not with Boston. I'd like to see different teams win a championship. So we'll see what happens with the deadline. It's going to be very, very interesting in the coming week. A lot of different rumors out there. Mike Conley on the trade block. Marc Gasol on the trade block. I think Wizards have shopped Otto Porter a little bit. Some different moves might happen there, and there could be a lot of changes. But I think one of the things you're seeing right now is everyone feels they're a competitor and they can compete. When you have a bunch of teams thinking they have a chance to make a playoff spot, like take the Kings for instance. When was the last time the Kings were in a playoff race? 07, 08, something like that. And so who knows with them. There's not a lot of sellers right now. Memphis is a seller, but Phoenix is young. They're trying to build. New Orleans doesn't really want to sell anybody. And, you go over to the East, the Knicks, the Cavaliers, the Bulls, the Hawks. They don't really have much to give. Orlando, they're kind of interesting. They might try to move Vucevic. They might try to move a couple guys. Detroit, they're trying to acquire talent. And then everybody else in the top eight. When you really look at the top eight, it's very sad, though. You look at the Pacers. That's a team that could have done some damage in the playoffs. I'll say this: Philly, Boston, Toronto, and Milwaukee did not want to see Indiana. But Victor Oladipo goes down with that injury. And that's just unfortunate because Indiana's kind of, that smaller team and really, built it through some good trades and, different assets. And for them just to have their season ripped from underneath them and possibly next season, that's just very unfortunate. So that I definitely feel bad for them. So that pretty much covers what I wanted to talk about today. I want to do this, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes a day. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please let me know what you think. And, I appreciate any feedback. And, it's me signing off. So, again, thanks for listening. Have yourself a good rest of your day.